Hey, Psych Circles community, ever feel like you're on a hair trigger, like the smallest things set you off? Maybe you spilled your coffee, lost your keys, or hit a snag at work and suddenly you're totally freaking out. It's easy to brush it off as just being stressed, right? But what if it's something more? What if it's acute stress reaction? Imagine this. You're driving to work, already running late, and you hit every single red light. Suddenly your heart is racing, your palms are sweaty, and you feel like you can't think straight. Why do we sometimes react to minor inconveniences as if they're life or death situations? The answer lies in our brain's incredible ability to protect us from danger. When we perceive a threat, whether it's a real danger or just a stressful situation, our brain kicks into survival mode. This fight-or-flight response is hardwired into us. It's what kept our ancestors alive in the face of wild animals and other threats. The problem is, our modern world is full of triggers, traffic jams, deadlines, social media overload, that our brain sometimes misinterprets as real dangers. Acute stress reaction is more common than you might think. It doesn't discriminate, it can affect anyone regardless of age, background, or profession. Understanding it is the first step toward managing it. Acute stress reaction is like a short circuit in your system. It's your body's way of saying, whoa, too much, too fast. It's not a sign of weakness. And it doesn't mean you're going crazy. It simply means your brain is doing its job, trying to protect you, even if it's sometimes a little overzealous. We'll break down the symptoms, explore the difference between this condition and other stress-related disorders, and equip you with practical tools and techniques to manage those overwhelming stress bursts. So, what exactly acute stress reaction? It's more than just feeling stressed or overwhelmed. It's a specific psychological response triggered by a sudden or overwhelming stressor. Think of it like this. Stress is like the common cold. We all experience it from time to time. Acute stress reaction is more like the flu. It hits you harder and faster and the symptoms are more intense. Imagine you're walking down the street and you nearly get hit by a car. Your heart pounds, you break out in a sweat, and you might even feel frozen in place. Now imagine experiencing that same intense reaction after a minor argument with a coworker or a frustrating commute. The key here is the word acute. It means sudden and short-lived. Unlike chronic stress, which builds up gradually over time, acute stress reaction happens quickly and intensely. One of the hallmarks of acute stress reaction is how quickly it kicks in. You're going about your day, everything seems normal, and then bam! Something triggers that intense stress response. This rapid onset is due to the way our brains process stress. When we encounter a potential threat, our amygdala, the part of our brain responsible for processing emotions, especially fear, springs into action. It sends out an SOS signal to the rest of our body, releasing a surge of hormones, primarily adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones are the culprits behind those racing heartbeats, sweaty palms, and that feeling of your stomach doing flips. However, in our modern world, our amygdala can be a little oversensitive, mistaking minor stressors for major threats. To truly grasp acute stress reaction, we need to understand the fight-or-flight response. It's a primal, hardwired response that's been crucial to our survival as a species. Imagine our ancestors encountering a wild animal. Their bodies would flood with adrenaline and cortisol, giving them the energy and focus to either fight off the predator or run for their lives. This response triggers a cascade of physiological changes. Heart rate and breathing speed up, delivering oxygen to your muscles, preparing you for action. Muscles tense up, ready to spring into action, whether that's fighting or fleeing. Senses sharpen and your vision might even narrow, allowing you to focus on the threat. In the heat of the moment, these physical changes are essential for survival. But here's the catch. Our brains haven't quite caught up to the demands of modern life. We rarely face life or death situations anymore, but our bodies still react to everyday stressors as if they were saber-toothed tigers. So, we know our brains are wired to protect us from danger. But why does this system sometimes go into overdrive, making us overreact to things that aren't actually life-threatening? It all comes down to a tiny, almond-shaped part of our brain called the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your brain's security guard. It's constantly scanning your environment for potential threats. The problem is, the amygdala isn't always great at distinguishing between real dangers and everyday stressors. It's like that overly cautious security guard who mistakes a dropped book for a gunshot. When the amygdala senses a threat, whether it's real or imagined, it sends out an alarm signal to the hypothalamus, the command center of your stress response system. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to get stressed out more easily than others? Or that you might be more reactive to certain types of stressors? This is where our individual experiences come into play. Our past experiences, especially those involving trauma or chronic stress, can shape how sensitive our amygdala becomes. Think of it like this. Imagine you've been in a car accident. Even years later, the sound of screeching brakes or the sight of a car swerving might trigger an intense fear response, even if there's no real danger. This is because your amygdala has learned to associate those stimuli with a traumatic experience. It's also important to remember that we're all wired differently. Just like some people are naturally more introverted or extroverted, we also have different baseline levels of stress reactivity. Some individuals are simply more prone to experiencing intense stress responses than others. This can be due to a variety of factors, including genetics, temperament, and personality traits. For example, people who are naturally more anxious or prone to worry might have a more reactive amygdala. Similarly, those who are highly sensitive or have a strong need for control might find it more challenging to cope with unexpected or stressful situations. Let's talk about how acute stress reaction feels, because it's not just about your heart racing or your palms sweating. It's about what's going on inside your head too. Imagine this. You're in a meeting at work, and your boss criticizes your presentation. Suddenly, you feel this wave of intense anxiety wash over you. Your mind races, you can't focus, and you might even feel like you're going to have a panic attack. That's the thing about acute stress reaction. It often involves a sudden surge of overwhelming emotions. You might feel incredibly anxious or fearful, even if the situation doesn't seem that threatening to others. It's like your emotions are on high alert, ready to react at the slightest provocation. And it's not just anxiety. Acute stress reaction can also manifest as irritability or anger. You might find yourself snapping at your loved ones or getting easily frustrated over minor inconveniences. The important thing to remember is that these emotional reactions are a normal part of your body's stress response. They're not a sign of weakness, and they don't mean you're going crazy. While the emotional symptoms of acute stress reaction can be pretty overwhelming, your body doesn't stay silent either. In fact, it often sends out some pretty clear signals that you're in the throes of an acute stress response. One of the most common physical symptoms is a rapid heartbeat. Remember that surge of adrenaline we talked about? Well, that's what's causing your heart to pound in your chest. You might also experience shortness of breath, like you can't quite get enough air. This is because your body is trying to pump more oxygen to your muscles, preparing you for fight or flight. Other physical signs include sweating, trembling or shaking, dizziness, muscle tension, and even nausea or stomach upset. Acute stress reactions don't just affect how you feel and what's happening in your body, they can also lead to noticeable changes in your behavior. For example, you might find it incredibly difficult to concentrate or focus on tasks that usually come easily to you. It's like your brain is so preoccupied with the stressor that it can't devote any mental energy to anything else. You might also become easily startled or jumpy, as if you're constantly on edge, anticipating the next bad thing to happen. In some cases, acute stress reaction can also lead to avoidance behaviors. You might start avoiding certain people, places, or situations that you associate with the stressor. This avoidance can be a way of trying to protect yourself from experiencing those intense feelings of stress and anxiety again. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds a lot like anxiety. What's the difference? And it's a great question because both acute stress reaction and anxiety disorders share some common ground. They both involve feelings of fear, worry, and apprehension, and they can both manifest with similar physical symptoms like a racing heart, sweating, and difficulty concentrating. But here's the key distinction. Think of acute stress reaction as a sudden short circuit in your system, while anxiety is more like a persistent hum of worry in the background. Acute stress reaction is triggered by a specific event, a car accident, a heated argument, a near miss, and it typically subsides relatively quickly once the stressful situation has passed. Anxiety, on the other hand, is often more free-floating and persistent. It's characterized by excessive worry and fear about everyday situations, even when there's no immediate threat. Let's talk about another condition often confused with acute stress reaction (PTSD). Both involve intense stress reactions after trauma, but differ in duration. Imagine you're in a car accident. You feel shaken, anxious, and have trouble sleeping. This is acute stress reaction. Symptoms subside over days or weeks, but for some, stress reactions persist. They experience flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts even months later. They avoid reminders, feel numb, or are easily startled. These are signs of PTSD. The key difference is time. Acute stress reaction is immediate, while PTSD involves persistent symptoms. Acute stress reaction is like a fire alarm, while PTSD is like lingering smoke damage. Let's talk about panic attacks and acute stress reaction. Both involve sudden, intense fear and physical symptoms, but differ in triggers and manifestation. Imagine sitting in traffic, late for a meeting. Your heart pounds, you can't breathe, and feel impending doom. It feels like a heart attack or going crazy. That's a panic attack. Panic attacks come out of the blue, often with no clear trigger. They peak within minutes with symptoms like a racing heart, sweating, and dizziness. Acute stress reaction is triggered by specific events like a car accident or public speaking. While symptoms are similar, they're linked to the stressor. Acute stress reaction responds to a specific trigger, while panic attacks seem to come out of nowhere. Acute stress reaction is like hitting the alarm button. A panic attack is a false alarm. When acute stress reaction strikes, you need quick and effective methods to regain control. Recognize the onset of symptoms and address them immediately with grounding techniques. Grounding techniques anchor you in the present moment. Try the 5-4-3-2-1 method. Identify 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This exercise calms your mind and brings you back to the present. Deep breathing exercises are also effective. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. Repeat until you feel centered. Progressive muscle relaxation involves tensing and relaxing each muscle group. This releases tension and distracts your mind, offering immediate relief. Mindfulness and meditation focus on the present moment without judgment. They help you become aware of your thoughts and feelings, reducing their power over you. Incorporate brief meditation sessions into your daily routine to train your brain to stay calm and focused. While immediate relief techniques are essential, long-term strategies are crucial for managing stress. Develop a comprehensive plan to build resilience and cope effectively. Regular physical activity is one of the best ways to manage stress. Exercise releases endorphins and reduces stress hormones. Maintain a healthy lifestyle with good sleep, diet, and hydration. Cognitive restructuring helps challenge negative thoughts. Incorporate relaxation techniques like deep breathing and mindfulness. Managing and reducing acute stress reaction isn't something you have to do alone. Building a strong support system can make a significant difference in how you cope with stress. Surround yourself with people who understand and support you. If self-help techniques and social support aren't enough, seeking professional help is crucial. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. We've covered a lot on managing acute stress reactions, from grounding techniques to lifestyle changes. Sometimes self-help isn't enough. It's crucial to recognize when to seek professional help, like seeing a doctor for a persistent cough. If stress interferes with daily life, reach out to a therapist. Know the signs: constant stress, daily life impact, unhealthy coping. Seek help when needed. Navigating therapy. Finding the right approach for acute stress. Seeking professional help can feel daunting. There are many types of therapy, and finding the right approach is a collaborative process. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is effective for managing stress and anxiety. CBT is based on the idea that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected. You'll work with your therapist to identify and challenge negative thought patterns. CBT also involves developing coping skills to manage stress effectively. The goal is to equip you with practical tools to navigate stressful situations. Medication and other options, working with your doctor. Sometimes therapy alone isn't enough for acute stress reaction. Your doctor might recommend medication. Medication works best with therapy and lifestyle changes. Anti-anxiety medications like benzodiazepines can help but are for short-term use. Beta blockers can manage physical symptoms like rapid heartbeat. Discuss the benefits and risks with your doctor. They might also recommend relaxation techniques and lifestyle changes. A comprehensive approach addresses both physical and psychological aspects. Reclaiming your calm, you've got this. We've covered a lot today, from understanding acute stress reaction to exploring practical strategies for managing those moments. Remember, you are not alone, and you don't have to let acute stress reaction control your life. It's like your brain's overzealous security guard mistaking a dropped book for a bomb threat. You can learn to soothe your own stress response. By understanding triggers and practicing grounding techniques, you can regain control and navigate with ease. You've got this. Stay connected. Your mental health journey continues. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit from understanding acute stress reaction. And don't forget to subscribe to Psych Circles and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos about mental health, well-being, and everything in between. Remember, taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. It's an ongoing journey, not a destination, and sometimes it takes a little courage to ask for help. So if you're struggling, please don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health professional. There's no shame in seeking support, and it can make a world of difference. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, take care of yourselves. Psych Circles community.